Hey everybody, Livia here. Welcome to Shrink Wrap. And today I have a tool or exercise, if you will, that you can try this week. And basically how it works is you identify your feeling and you kind of track yourself back through the layers of meaning to the core belief that you might have way deep underneath of your emotional state. So, for example, let's say I was feeling intimidated. I notice I feel intimidated. I can say to myself, okay, I feel intimidated. What does it mean if I feel intimidated? What does that mean about me if I'm feeling intimidated? What's the belief that I have about myself if I feel intimidated? And I check in and I go in and I'm really feeling for what's the belief behind being intimidated. Well, if I'm intimidated, then that must mean that I'm not good enough. Okay, well, it seems that I'm not good enough. Well, what would it mean about me if I'm not good enough? What does that mean? What's the belief around not being good enough? Well, if I'm not good enough, then I'm not going to be liked. Okay, well, what does it mean if I'm not liked? What's the belief that I have about not being liked? Well, if I'm not liked, then I won't have any friends. Okay, well, what does it mean if I don't have any friends? What's the problem with not having any friends? Well, I'd be alone. Well, okay, then I'd be alone. Well, what would it mean about me if I was alone? Well, I wouldn't know where I was. I wouldn't know, like, where I was in the world. Oh, well, what's the worry or the fear about not knowing where you are in the world? What would that mean about me not knowing where I am in the world? Well, I would, if I don't know where I am in the world, then I don't know if it's okay to be here. Oh, well, if I don't know if it's okay to be here, what does that mean about me if it's not okay for me to be here? If I don't know if it's okay for me to be here, well, if I think that it's not okay for me to be here, then I might have the assumption that I shouldn't be here, or that I don't deserve to be here, or I was a mistake. So that's how you can track yourself from the emotional state all the way down to the core belief. So the core belief behind intimidation is, in the example that I just gave, is it's not okay for me to exist. So for some of you might not find this tool very helpful, but I have a feeling that for many of you it will be helpful. It just takes a little bit of practice, and you might find that it's easier to do it in writing than working it through, and you can do that with any emotion. So intimidation, fear, anxiety, anger, all of these emotions, you can track it back, and each step is to get from the one to the other step is, okay, well, what does that mean about me? What's the belief that I have about myself? If I am X, what does that mean about me? If I believe X, what does that mean about me? And that'll get you to the next one. And then you ask the same question, And if you do it, I have a feeling you'll find some of the deeper layers, some real deep core belief structures. And it's very common for us to have that. We have a variety of core wounds in our being for any number of reasons. And if you can come into contact with that core wound, then the real true emotion around that core wound can emerge. Like the feeling of not knowing about one's existence, that's like that's the great existential question. And I have a feeling that if you track people's inspiration of yoga practice, of why they keep doing it, if you go deeper, 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 it comes to this existential place. So that's my invitation for you this week, to dive into your emotional state and pattern and really track it back to the core belief. Once we start to understand more of what our core beliefs about ourselves are, some of the core wounds about ourselves are, then our reactivity towards certain emotions starts to make a little more sense, and we can work them more fully. And that's working them more fully is and more effectively is for another week. But for this week, just tracking through meaning down to your core beliefs. I'd love to hear how it goes, so feel free to leave a comment here. And if you like this video, please share it, tweet it, all that good stuff. Send it to a friend. And if you want your question or interest examined in shrink wrap and you want a little shrink wrap around it, then leave a comment here as well or write to me, and it's lgsyoga@gmail.com. Hope you guys have a really great week and good luck with this little exercise. Okay, bye.